All right, welcome back. So we've talked about pilotage and dead reckoning. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about electronic navigation. In a previous video, we were going to go ahead and dead reckon ourselves from Bear Lake up to the VOR. And keep in mind, if you fly in Denver, this doesn't make any sense to you because you look up and you see Wyoming. But people who fly out east, the daily visibility might be anywhere from 3 to 5 miles. So they need to be able to dead reckon, get close, look at the ground, and within 3 miles, because that's VFR weather, be able to find their checkpoint, right? You're talking about weather minimums and things like that. These things all come together when you start understanding it. But let's talk about how we can back ourselves up with electronic navigation. If it's not obvious to you already, your iPad, GPS is by far the best source of navigation you have. GPS, let me say it again, GPS is by far the best source of navigation you have. If your VFR, the iPad, is probably the best source of information you have. If your IFR, it's the panel-mounted GPS. And then finally, we have these old school nav aids called VORs. VOR, that stands for VHF Omnidirectional Range, and is depicted by this compass rose. And you can see it says 270, 300. It's crooked for a reason, and that's because it's oriented with magnetic north, just like the VOR is. In this case, if you want to back yourself up, when you leave Bear Creek, tune up the Jeffco VOR on a frequency of 115.4. When you identify it, you're going to hear a long tone followed by 3 beeps, beep, 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 and so on and so forth. And that's literally the Morse code for the letters B, J, C, otherwise known as the Jeffco VOR. If you're wondering what this channel 101 is, that's for military users to manually tune the DME associated with it. You know it has DME because you can tell from the symbol. It has a square around it. If it has a square around it, that means it's a VOR with DME. If it only has that hexagonal shape, it's just a VOR. And furthermore, just in case you're curious, if it looks like this right here, that's a TACAN. Use your GPS when you don't have the ability to use GPS, or if you're on a check ride and you're required to demonstrate electronic navigation. Please, for the love of all that's holy, take matters into your own hands and select a VOR and select a radial, like in this case, what looks to me like the 168. Select a radial that you can go ahead and say, oh, I chose this radial to back myself up. That way the examiner doesn't have to drive the show, you can drive the show. Say for instance you're going northeast and Strasbourg is your visual checkpoint. Maybe you'll want to use the Falcon VOR. You see this one right here, the Falcon VOR? Maybe you want to use the Falcon VOR and go ahead and select a radial to identify Strasbourg. How cool is that? It looks to me like that's the 072, and if we look here on the compass rose, I see 068. I'm going to use the compass rose on the chart. If you're leaving Centennial, you might find it even more useful to go ahead and use the Denver VOR to identify Strasbourg, since it crosses our route more perpendicular. The more perpendicular, the more precise it's going to be. In this case, you would go ahead and select the 117 degree radial, and that would help you to identify Strasbourg where it crosses I-25 right here. And that's a great tool. Also, being able to put your hands on the chart, 2 points, and getting yourself a time, fuel, and distance along with a heading is a powerful tool. And that's some way you can use the GPS inherent in your iPad to assist in your electronic navigation, specifically with your divert. Oh my gosh, dude, this is so easy. It beats the heck out of pulling out a chart and a map and playing the accordion with that map and trying to go ahead and perform the calculations on an E6B with a plotter and all that stuff. So this is really, really easy stuff. It's very powerful technology. All you have to do is be familiar with some of the functions. That, my friends, is a real short introduction to electronic navigation. Just to let you know, make sure you do it. See you again in just a moment, and we'll go ahead and continue flight planning.